Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So today is BookList Thursday, and BookList Thursday is something I do with Sarah over at Sarah's Nightstand. We come to you every Thursday with some sort of book ideas, thoughts, recommendations, something bookish related. Today's subject is books you need to annotate. I know there's some controversy over whether or not people annotate in their books, whether they write in them or tab them or highlight them or whatever they do. I'm a fan of doing it. I don't do it with every single book, but definitely books that I either want to revisit, or there's quotes in there, or there's some piece of the story that I want to make sure that I come back to. I am not afraid of writing in it with whatever utensil I can find. So a couple of these are just authors in general that you need to annotate, and some are specific books. So let's just get started, right? So the first one I have is a specific book, and it's The Shack by William Paul Young. This follows a father, Mackenzie Phillips, whose youngest daughter, Missy, was abducted during a family vacation and murdered. And he is really still having a hard time dealing with this, and he receives a really surprising note that is from God inviting him to the shack where her murder took place for the weekend. And he goes, and it is phenomenal what happens. I need to reread this book, but there are parts of this book, especially about forgiveness, that just really hit me hard, where I'm like, ooh, I need to remember that. So it's fantastic. Definitely have a pencil or pen or highlighter handy to annotate that one. The next one I have isn't necessarily all of her books, but lately her books have been fantastic, and it's Kristen Hanna. This is The Great Alone. I also have The Nightingale, and you can tell we've got tabbies in here. There's parts that I've called out, and there are scenes in here that are fantastic. This one follows a family who moves to Alaska. The father's having issues with some PTSD, but this is following the Vietnam War, so that really wasn't something that was easy to overcome at the time. So moving to Alaska felt like a good idea and a fresh start. And he brought along his wife and his daughter, and it really just follows his daughter, Lenny, and kind of what happens from there. But it is fantastic. The Nightingale, again, fantastic. Have a highlighter or tabs or something ready, because you're going to want to annotate those two books. The next few are just authors in general. Again, Mitch Albom always stands out to me. 5 People We Meet in Heaven is just the one I happen to grab. Yes, these are little itty bitty books, but man, does he know how to pack a punch. So be ready to write some notes. This one would be good. I feel like I should have a journal next to me as I read through some of his books, just because of the thoughts and the feelings he gets me to go through when I read his books. The next one shouldn't be a surprise, of course, my Jodi. Jodi Picoult is infamous for making me really think. So I'm always having something together, and with hers, sometimes it's more of I put a tab in because I want to remember this specific event, because most likely I'm going to have to come back to it for whatever reason. So not so much quotes, but just how she builds her story. And how she tells her story, and how she just really makes you think. 19 Minutes made me think things that I didn't like thinking, because this follows a school shooting, and you will find yourself justifying why this is happening, why this kid wants to go to school and shoot these other kids, because of how she's written this book. So it's amazing. She always does an amazing job. And my last one that I'm telling you, you need to be prepared to annotate anything that this man writes, is going to be Frederick Bachmann. I happen to just grab Us Against You because I need to go back through here with a highlighter, because I think all I did at the time was I just had a pen with me. Some of them, all I did was fold over a corner, so that I'm like, oh, I got to remember to read that page, because something on that page stuck out to me. I know I did have a pen on a couple of these here. I have just little pen marks in it, but I need to go back and actually put some tabs in here with some highlighting, because he is just the king of fantastic quotes that makes you just really, really think about things. So Beartown and Us Against You definitely are the ones I annotated the most. His other book, My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, was another one I annotated quite a bit because that one deals with grief and death, and just there's a lot of really good points that he makes in them, but he is such a fantastic writer, and he does these little one sentence little zingers that just makes you think. So for example, here's one. People will always choose a simple lie over a complicated truth because the lie has one unbeatable advantage. The truth always has to stick to what actually happened, whereas the lie just has to be easy to believe. Right? It's fantastic. So grab a highlighter, grab some Post-it notes, whatever you use to annotate. I know some people keep a journal with really good quotes in them. At my book club, I know I encourage people to bring up different quotes that resonated to them, whatever floats your boat really. But let me know below, there's some other authors I need to keep my eye out for when I want to annotate books. Also, hop over to Sarah's channel at Sarah's Nightstand, links below. See which ones she picked that you need to annotate. Of course, I'm always curious to see what she says. I have a feeling though, Frederick Bachmann's going to be on the list. Just a feeling. Otherwise, like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, and I will see you next time. Bye.